Alright, here we are, Bea. Hello. Hi. Yeah, looks like everything's fine. And as usual, I need a bit of a reminder where we were. Oh, yeah, a rumor going around that one of the 7 mysteries has been cited again. The one that was supposed to be resolved just a little while back, you know, okay. Seems like the rumors spread pretty far. She whispers to me as we're eating together, and I nod and look over to where the girls... It's so funny when that happens. Look over to where the girls are chatting over their empty plates. Ichigo's reactions are so Ichigo as always. Ichigo-san's voice floats over, bringing their conversation to my ears.
私たちが七不思議の噂を広めるだなんて。藪をつついて銀色の蛇を出すにはこいつが一番だ。七不思議の噂、それも精霊のルーガルーだ。察しのいいあの二人なら意図がわかるだろうぜ。
Erika-san's plan was to use the 7 mysteries to get us moving forward again. To start a rumor that the werewolf of the bell tower had appeared once again.
秋に起きたあの事件は佐々木さんたちが仕組んだ狂言だからこそ。でもなんで精霊のルーガルーなの？他の七不思議じゃダメなの？他の七不思議じゃ具合が悪いのさ。それに今度のルーガルーは。
She jerks her chin toward Ichigo-san's table.
今度目撃されたっていうルーガルーは全身銀色の毛に包まれた姿だったんだって。それに月の光に照らされてすごく美しくて、それでいて恐ろしかったそうですよ。
They're so into it. Erika-san raises her eyebrows at me.
銀髪ってところは八代先輩っぽいけれど。
Ah, sorry about that.
本当にそれで引っ張り出せるの？
I wonder whether Yatsushiro-senpai will understand the meaning behind our rumor. Only 3 of us know the truth behind the previous werewolf of the bell tower incident. The addition of the silver fur is a clear indication that we want to meet and talk to her.
あまり気乗りしていない顔だな。
From beside me, Erika-san leans forward and speaks in a whisper that only I can hear.
噂話を広めるのにいちごさんたちを巻き込んだのは私と同じで、あいつらも巻き込まれたなんて思っちゃいないさ。え？それにあいつらは思っている以上に強い。もう乗り越えているよ。
She looks over to Ichigo-san and Ringo-san, whose expressions are clear and untroubled.
そうね。
But the twinge of guilt hasn't left me. However, regardless of those feelings, it came to me. A letter slipped into my shoe locker. Oh. Red. That's nice. I guess we have a perspective change, maybe? Or not? I squint, trying to make out the path before me. It's one thing when the moon is shining, but as soon as the clouds drift across it, the darkness will be absolute. I probably won't even be able to see my hand in front of my face. As though to validate my prediction, the curtain of darkness abruptly falls. With barely any sunlight to warm the earth during the day, the midwinter night is frigid. Whenever the moon pokes out through the cloud cover, I move my wheelchair forward, and when it hides again, I stop. I've traveled the path through the academy 100 times, but it's somehow different at night to during the day. I can't simply guess at where I'm supposed to be going. Although I know it's way too early, I look towards the eastern sky, wishing for the sun to light my way. But there's not a sliver to be seen over the dark line of the horizon. I think of the letter that seemed to come to Shirahane right when she needed it most. Just as we hoped, Yatsushiro-senpai made contact. There was no preamble. All that was written was a date and a note that she would be waiting in the chapel at midnight. Just as planned. Spreading rumors about the werewolf of the bell tower was all in service of getting her to make contact with us. Everything was going as it should. The question now was, well, my question is, why the heck are you going alone in the dark? What if she gets in my face as soon as I arrive at the chapel? Maybe I'll find that it's not only Yatsushiro-senpai and Komikado-senpai I'm facing. We're talking about someone who can spirit people away, like with Mayuri Kosaka. We don't know how many people may be involved. Encouraged her? In what sense? I never expected it to turn into such a big deal. And yet, here we are. Still, if I had looked into her face after the early summer rains had passed, knowing that it was going to lead to this, perhaps I still would have said the exact same words. Only Kosaka, the one who's caused Shirahane such pain. Sorry. The chapel looms before me, dark and hulking like a crouching giant. Shrouded in darkness, the white walls make me think of pale, icy human skin. No. Giving myself an internal pep talk, I force my usual smile onto my face. The same smile my dad would always give me. The one Chidori says makes me look like a cat. I say my Amitia's name softly, and with that I'm back to my usual self. I reach out for the door. When I push open the heavy door and enter the chapel at last, the cold pierces me like a knife, making me shiver. Somehow it's even colder inside than out. I raise my eyes to the days at the end of the nave. Oh god, these names for things, I'd forgotten about them, sorry. They probably were there mentioned sometime early in the novel, and we looked them up, and still I forgot about them, I'm sorry. Then... Apart from the three of us, I don't see any other figures in the chapel. Although I can't rely only on my sight in this darkness, I trust my other senses, and the fact that I can't discern any other presence tells me she didn't lie in her letter. Besides... Yuzuriha Yatsushiro is wearing her trademark cynical smile. Beside her, Nerine Komikado stares down at me like an angel judging me for my sins. What does that mean? My pointed glare seems to roll right off her. She shrugs, her smile never wavering. What's that supposed to mean? But the smile doesn't reach her pale grey eyes, which bore into mine as though searching for something. When I avert my gaze, she laughs. They must think that by me being here, everything is going according to their plan. I'm relieved that they don't seem interested in making any moves right off the bat. I don't have the capacity to judge just how right or wrong these things that they're exchanging are. In terms of, do they actually mean it? Is there something hidden underneath the surface of the words? I have no idea what's going on. And the more they talk about stuff, the more confused I am.
まあいいじゃないかネリー。友との開口だ。いいよ。話に付き合おう。君と話すのはいつだって楽しい。大切な時間だ。
Inside, it pains me how she's acting no different to before she left the academy. Still, things are developing in my favor.
どうやっているのかは知らないが、あんたたちは私たちを監視している。監視しているのは私や白羽たちだ。そうだね。
I feel like it's the same flavor of like most of the mysteries that we had so far, but it's elevated to a level where I have trouble even wrapping my head around there being some sort of, I don't know, weird conspiracy thing that snatches people away, or like I don't understand what's happening. I don't understand how they could be loitering around the school. How do they have winter uniforms if they've never enrolled for the next term? Are they from like the previous year and they get to keep it or something? But how are they still around the school? How do they, like, how can they get in touch with all of the rumors that are going around the school in order to react to it? And then they send a letter and then they meet here. Like, I understood that this school is like somewhere in the freaking wilderness. Like, there's no other area around where you could be and live. Either at the school or in the woods, you know? Like, I felt like that's how it was introduced, that there's like no in between, but apparently there is. Like, I don't get it. But then why? Why are they there? What the fuck is up with the goddess of truth? I thought initially that was some sort of metaphor, but now it seems to point more towards something very concrete, but weird to even try to imagine what it could be. I don't know. Anyway, let's see.
いい推測だ。
監視していたからこそ、バスキア教諭の部屋に忍び込もうとした私と千鳥の前に立つことができた。
Oh yeah, and the fact that their timing is just so impeccable. Whenever they try to do something, it's like, oh no, you're not allowed to go into Sister Basket. How did you know we were going into Sister Basket's room at this exact time of, and like in this precise moment you were able to come and like sneak in and stop us and like, what the heck? And that too, like, why are they suddenly acting like this? I don't want to believe this. Like, we've spent like a whole episode in Yuzuriha's mind, and there was like, I refuse to believe this is genuinely who she is. She's acting like this for a reason, but why? Ugh. I ask them whether I'm right, but neither of them answers. I take their silence as tacit assent and continue on.
でだ、私たちの前に都合よく現れたことで監視していることが。
Yeah, okay, what kind of surveillance is that? Like, how can you just react like that?
それが分かってしまうリスクを負ってまで姿を現したのは、バスキア教諭の部屋にそちら側にとってまずいものが隠されているからだ。そうだろ
This is such a weird phrasing for the sentence, but I think I understand. Okay. Again, they answer with silence. Channeling my father, I forge ahead.
ここでコミカド前副会長様の謎かけの答えだ。白羽は優秀だが、今は部屋の鍵を解錠できる私を主に監視している。だから。
That's why you're so calm right now, I finish.
君の言葉が正しければ、この場でスオー君が退治し、八重垣君がいない方が僕たちにとっては確かにまずいだろうね。秘密を握られてしまう。
Right, I say, pushing away my nerves. But they don't do anything yet. They simply descend into silence again.
白羽は置いてきた。まずは話し合いだ。あいつは高坂のこととなると我を忘れちまうからな。
代理というわけ？
ああ。話に付き合ってくれるなら、一つ教えちゃくれないか。シオン・バスキアについて教えてほしい。
シオン？初めて聞いた名だな。バスキアってことは彼女の身内なのかい？
Why are you playing dumb? You gave Suo basically a map with an X where the grave is. How could you not know? I don't understand. She doesn't seem inclined to give me any
だっ
answers.
たらアガペのタルパについて聞きたいね。こいつはあんたの口から聞いたことだ。白羽に伝えたんだって言っていたな。
タルパ。そいつも初耳だ。僕から聞いたと言ったが、聞き違いじゃないのかな。そんな名称今まで聞いたこともない。協力できなくて残念だよ。
My blood boils at her lackadaisical attitude. It's an insult to all my bookworm buddies' efforts. However,
まだ話を打ち切るわけにはいかない。
perhaps Nettie is the main villain. She killed the rabbits in the beginning of episode 2. Oh god. Oh lord. I have to draw it out for as long as possible. Why? What does that achieve? If I don't, this will all be for... Why? Are they trying to sneak into Sister Basket's room as they speak here?
Oh yeah?
There's a subtle shift in her previously flippant tone, but it's enough to send a shiver up my spine.
油断だな、八重垣くん。君ともあろうものが一緒。
No, but it's the middle of the night. Sister Basket would be there. So that's the worst moment to try to break into her room. Right? Right? Unless she's like out on patrol or something, which I don't know how that works.
何を言っていやがる。
ずっとカーテンで閉じられていた君の目から部屋が覗けたんだ。
Her true name is Yuzuriha Palpatine. Oh, that's a good one. Ay, ay, ay.
ねえ、八重垣くん。君は僕たちを罠にはめようとしているね。
She trots out her old line about the eyes being the window to the soul or whatever. But she's right on the money and I can't help but gulp. I feel a trickle of sweat drip down my chest. Still, I keep my expression neutral. Even if she's cottoned onto my intentions, as long as she hasn't figured out our methods, I'm still one step ahead. Just barely.
それはこっちのセリフってやつだぜ。先に罠にはめたのはそっちだ。
Despite my posturing, Yatsushiro-senpai's eyes never leave mine. While I'm sure she was speaking metaphorically, it really does feel like she's looking through my eyes to read the secrets written within. Then...
コミカド前副会長様にも質問があるのですがね。
何かしら。
率直に聞きますがね。あんたに罪の意識ってものはないのか。世話になった相手に泥を引っ掛けるような真似をして、良心が痛まないのか。
I'm looking to provoke her. Not Komikado-senpai, that is.
やめろ。
おや、私は間違ったことを言いましたかね。
But Yatsushiro-senpai, if she can indeed see through the window of my eyes to my soul, I just need to distract her from the view.
メリーに対する侮辱は許さない。
I'm sorry, for some reason that cracked me. はい。
ようやくらしい顔になった。だがな、人形風情が侮辱だって。
なんだと？
あんたが自分で口にしたことだろ。ブリキの木こりだ。心ってやつがない。ああ、そうだよな。だからこんな恥知らずな真似ができる。罪の意識があったらできっこない。あんたたち二人とも自分を持たない人形だ。だから持ち主が変わればコロコロ立ち位置を変えやがる。
I don't know whether it's because she won't stand for me insulting Komikado-senpai or because I've hit her where it hurts, but she narrows her bright silver snake-like eyes at me. If I keep pushing, I might get hurt, but whatever. Shirahane takes precedence.
八重垣くんは罪の意識がないのかと尋ねたが、
何か反論が。
譲りは。
罪だなんて大層な話じゃない。せいぜい罪悪感だとかの一段軽い話だよ。
軽い。
そうだな。例えるなら、ヒナから育てた鶏がいる。だがこの鶏を締めなければ、うまいブリトーは食べられない。 心は痛むが仕方ないことだ。
What does this have to do with anything though? Like, I'm so confused. I think of my relationship with you guys in the same way, she says. You think of us as chicken that you need to kill to make a burrito? Like, what? Sorry, what am I supposed to get out of that? The words are like a slap in the face. She's been sticking her nose into our business since the spring, and I've often found her to be an annoyingly meddlesome presence. However, a red heat boils up in my stomach and chest, threatening to explode in a shout. I'm having trouble reining in my emotions. I'd thought of them both, of Yatshiro-senpai and Komikado-senpai, as my friends. My seething emotions make my voice break as I reach for an answer to the sudden question. Because she's my friend, obviously. Her tone hasn't yet regained its previous carelessness, but noise her gaze as serpentine as before. I'm stumped for how to answer. She stares intently at me, leaving a long, pregnant pause that seems to seep up any and all secrets lingering in the room.
何を言ってやがる。
君の部屋の机の上にあるノートにしたためられているよ。初めて好きになった相手だってね。
There's a fire in my belly and in my chest.
こう書いてある。図書室に本を借りに行くのは笑顔が見たいからだ。自分を見つけた時に浮かぶ笑顔が好きだからだってね。
Okay, what's so wrong with that? Through the heat, I feel a sharp pain in my heart, like it's being pierced with 1,000 needles. Those feelings were my secret.
知った風なことを言ってるんじゃないぞ。
今なら目を覗かなくてもわかる。顔にしっかりと書いてあるんだからね。八重垣くん、そんな君なら。
She says something to me, but it doesn't reach my ears over the heat coursing through my veins and the unbearable pain in my chest. Right, この学院に転入した頃の私の道は暗く閉ざされていた。だが、あいつが、白羽が道を照らし示してくれた。So I won't falter anymore. 私は A heavy sonorous creak brings me back from the depths I'd receded into. The sound shouldn't be so loud, yet it feels like a gong being rung right by my ear. Forcing my heavy limbs and sluggish mind into motion, I turn slowly. And there she is. Erika! 合図があったわよ! Staring at me in obvious relief, my Amitia's face breaks into a smile as she dashes over and wraps her arms around my neck in a tight embrace. She smells like winter. And like Chidori. 大丈夫? 怪我してない? She's so cute. With her worried face and the little blush in her cheeks and that beret and... Cute! Cute. At first, she looked at everything with disdain. Nothing was spared. Nothing was spared her haughty gaze. Okay, I needed to read that 3 times to figure out how the sentence fits. So sorry, yeah. It was like looking at a version of myself from the past. Erika? She stares intently at me, and deep within her eyes, I see the light of summer. The sharp, dazzling light you see when looking up at the sky from the bottom of a pool. The dazzle of my beloved partner in crime. When you talk about someone like that, you know it's love. It's just, so cute. Chidori is still latched around my neck. I stroke her head, then look squarely up at the girls, a feline smile curving across my face. Man, Yuzuriha's hair is so freaking long.
とりあえずこの場の騙し合いでは私たちの勝ちです。白羽たちはうまくことをなしたようだ。ゆずりは。
The plan was simple. I was the one they were most wary of. While I drew their attention here, Prez would call for Sister Basket. Ah, I see. That was the detail that I wasn't thinking about. Leaving her room empty for Shirahane to sneak into. Since we didn't know how long it would take, I had to keep them both talking for as long as possible. Meanwhile, Chidori would be waiting outside the chapel for Prez's signal. 3 circles drawn in the sky with a torch. Okay.
そうか。どうも僕たちの負けらしい。
Yatsushiro-senpai shrugs after hearing Chidori's explanation, a gesture that's painfully familiar. Then she takes a step forward. Chidori tenses, but I put my hand on her arm and shake my head. Erika, you lost Yuzu. Every little thing that happened was orchestrated by me and me alone. You fell victim to my trap card. Your morning coffee was laced with laxatives, and yes, I could walk the entire time. I can totally picture Erika saying that. Oh god.
この人はこの後に及んでつまらない真似はしない。
評価してくれてどうも。八重垣くんの言う通り、僕たちは退散するよ。
いいの、譲りは。
義理は果たしたさ。ねえ八重垣くん。
How? Why? I don't understand. What was your obligation? How did you fulfill it? I don't get it. When I ask her what she's talking about, she responds with her trademark cynical smile.
君の勇気をたたえ、これから起こるであろう事件に一度だけ目をつむることを約束しよう。
そんな言葉信用しよう。
Now we can trust her. When Chidori asks me if I'm sure, I nod. Yatsushiro-senpai's words are ominous, but I have no reason to refuse the bone she's throwing me. She takes a couple more bounding strides, cheerful as she ever was. Then...
そうだ。
Oh god, one more thing. As she's about to pass by me, she stops and leans down to bring her lips to my ear.
愛すべき後輩にもう一つだけ鍵をやろう。マリア像の足元には蛇が踏みつけられている。
Wasn't that mentioned already? This sounds very familiar to me.
何？
その言葉をよく考えることだ。僕が示してあげられるのはここまで。
She strides off before I can question her further. No, the set of their backs represents flat rejection, and I'm unable to call out after them.
歌う骨。なんだかあの二人を見ていて思い出したの。なぜかしら。
A story from Grimm's fairy tales. A man kills his brother out of greed, but even when he's reduced to nothing but bones, the brother never forgets his betrayal. In the end, he uses the tune of a whistle to condemn his brother.
あなたが吹く笛は私の骨。兄に殺されて埋められてしまった。兄は王女と結婚したかったからか。エリカ？
I shake my head, dismissing the verse, but internally I wonder who could it be that ended up buried. And now that they're dead, what is the whistling tune they play, their words a silent cry of sorrow? You tell me. I have no idea. All of this is like the nightmares I have whenever I'm feeling low. The ones where something terrible is approaching and I try to run, but my legs won't obey me and all I can do is stand there rooted to the spot as fear creeps up from beneath my feet. Those kinds of dreams. The plan we came up with was simple. While Erika-san detained Yatsushiro-senpai and Komikado-senpai, we made our way to Sister Basket's room. Rika-san called Sister Basket out for something, and I slipped into her vacated room to search for whatever it was the older girls feared being found. It was a simple strategy. However, although I looked from top to bottom searching for whatever they might be afraid of, perhaps a diary or a photo, in the end I came up empty-handed. Oh god, all that effort for nothing. While you couldn't go so far as to call it Spartan, other than the many teddy bears, Sister Basket's room was simple and minimalist. At first I was relieved, thinking I'd be able to get my task over with quickly. But rummaging through the desk drawers and thoroughly inspecting the wardrobe, I couldn't find anything that might negatively impact the girls. Time ticked by until I heard a sneeze from way down the corridor leading to the distant dorms. That was the signal to warn me they were coming back. When I heard it, I felt a sudden heaviness in my limbs. It was just like the nightmares I have where I'm being pursued by something terrible. My legs were frozen in place like I was trapped in a quagmire. Nothing felt real. When I heard the second sneeze, it finally hit home that I was about to be caught red-handed. Just then I noticed a piece of paper on the floor of the otherwise neat and tidy room. I moved falteringly, led by the glowing light of insect traps, until I reached where the object lay before the door. When I leaned down to pick it up, I found that it wasn't paper, but a white handkerchief. I was about to say... it was Eva's receipt! I don't know why I thought about that. Right, so it was a white handkerchief. And what I felt when I saw it... I feel it again now. The same unreal nightmare sensation I felt in Sister Basket's room. Oh my god, a handkerchief! I'm having a nightmare. What? The dark art room is eerily silent. The only sound to be heard is the occasional rattle of the wind against windows. It makes me think of old twisted fingers gnarled as ancient branches tapping against the glass. No, outside the window I see my stepmother. She scrabbles weakly at the window, her hair fluttering in the wind, her gaze spiteful. That is creepy as fuck. Okay. A chill runs down my spine, and I feel a horrible sense of anxiety, like when I recall a scary scene from a horror movie just before washing my hair. Okay. Like Psycho or what? Why are you thinking of horror movies before washing your hair? Oh god. I say my Amitia's name as though calling for a guardian angel. The mental image of her, like a burst of spring sunshine, gives me a little courage.
Mayuri?
There's a faint knock on the wall, and I say her name questioningly this time. Pressing my hand against the wall, I close my eyes. I can feel her there on the other side. Why through the wall again? It's... Euphoria surges through me when she answers in a whisper. I feel no more fear, no more cold. It's just me and her in our own little world. Okay. Sure, she's talking to you through the wall. Fine.
助けてくれてありがとう。あの時、あのハンカチーフを見つけなければ、きっと。
She says nothing, but I know she's there. Maybe that's why I treasure even this silence.
少しずつだけれど、あなたに近づいている。
これ以上真実を知るのは危険だ。
It's an unspoken warning for me to stop, and my heart screams within me, desperate to see her, to be with her again.
何度も手紙を出そうとした。
私だって、マユリ宛てに何十枚も書いた。
Emotion surges up in me and I shout through the wall. If we both want to see one another so desperately, then why are we still relegated to speaking through walls? Perhaps she's terribly ill. Perhaps her face has been disfigured. Why would her face be disfigured? Oh my god. Oh. Oh my god. That is a creepy concept. Horrible possibilities fill my mind. Her voice remains unchanged, but what if she's just putting on a brave front?
マリア像の足元には蛇が踏みつけられている。
Oh, this thing again.
バスキア教諭の部屋に忍び込むのは危険だ。あの場所には鍵が眠っている。
鍵?
The key to getting to Mairi, or the key to the darkness that lies at the heart of the academy. Is there something in that modest room that could shine a light on the darkness? Although I was just there, my memories of it are already hazy and undefined. Like a bad dream.
あゆり
The warmth of her presence is gone. I am now seized by a freezing cold at the core of my being. I wrap my arms around myself as though to ward it off and ask her a question. Are my actions hurting the one I love? I can't get her anguished voice out of my head, and I feel a pain deep in my chest like nails clawing at my heart.
もちろん苦しめているのよ。
Yeah, sure. Out of nowhere, my stepmother's voice resounds in my right ear.
お前は誰にも愛されることはない。
Will there be a non-magical explanation to this Mayuri in the wall scene? I know exactly as much as you two, Bea. I have no idea. I guess there should be. There's for everything that so far has had even the slightest tinge of seeming supernatural in the beginning, there has been a logical explanation. So I can't imagine that now at the end, at the biggest mystery, suddenly things are magical or things are in people's heads only, right? Initially, when the first scene happened of her talking through walls to Mayuri, I was seriously contemplating the possibility of her maybe imagining it or hallucinating or something. But this is like, what, the third time at least? At least. I don't know if that would still fit. Like, I would want to think that Suo is not going cuckoo bananas over this. So there might just, I'm entertaining also the thought of it being something else, but at the same time, if I try to like think about it just logically in terms of things that make sense in the real world, this is like the most nonsensical thing, because like, why would Mayuri talk to her through walls? First of all, have you tried talking to someone through walls? You can like not do that. And also, if she's talking to her through walls, let's say she is, maybe they're super thin, okay, let's say it works, then that means she's just like in the room next over. So why do they have to talk like this? If like, why can't they just meet, you know? Why does she suddenly leave? She comes, she says 3 sentences, and then she's gone. It's just, I don't know. So weird. Her whisper worms its way into my left ear this time, dripping with malice, yet at the same time hideously sweet. New chapter.
グリム童話にマリアの子供と呼ばれる一編がある。
Mary's child. Alright.
貧しい家庭に生まれた女の子が3歳の折に聖母マリアに引き取られ、天国で幸せな生活を送ることとなる。
Meaning she died.
日々は流れ、女の子が14歳になった時、
Or not.
旅に出るマリア様から鍵を預かることとなった。そして13番目の扉を開けてはならないと命じられる。しかし女の子は好奇心から13番目の扉を開けてしまう。旅から戻ったマリア様が扉を開けたことに気づき問いただすも、女の子は開けていないと堅くなに言い張った。言いつけを守らず嘘をついた女の子へとマリア様は罰を下し、口を聞けなくし、天国から追放した。その後、身寄りなく泣き暮らすも、偶然に通りかかった王子に拾われ、結婚することとなる。仲睦まじく過ごし、子供を授かった。
Oh
し
no.
かし、
Oh no.
子供が生まれた晩、マリア様が枕元に立ち、13番目の扉を開けていないのだね、と問われ、お妃となった女は、堅くなに開けていないと訴えた。嘘の代償として子供を奪われるお妃。その後、2度 3度子供が生まれ同じ質問をされるも嘘をつき続けたため、その度子をさらわれてしまう。物語の最後に改心したお妃が嘘を恥じ罪を認めたことで連れ去られた子供は3人とも返され許された。14歳の折についた嘘で全てを失い、嘘をつき続けたため大切なものを奪われる。このお話を聞き、私は恐れを感じた。これから始まる物語は、失った子供を取り戻そうとあがく哀れな王女のお話。
Okay, so after that creepiness, the air is warm, as though teasing the arrival of spring. The sun's light is pale and gentle. It feels like spring, I murmur.
そうね。でも今日のような日は続かないわ。またすぐ冬が戻ってくる。
As I listen to the pleasant tinkle of tea being poured into a cup, I think to myself that spring can't come soon enough. I feel like with the arrival of spring, everything will be better.
どうぞ。まさかコーヒーがいいなんて言わないわよね。
Lowering her gaze from the peaceful blue sky, Erika-san lifts her own teacup and breathes in the scent.
休日の朝にはこっちの方がいい。ダージリンだろ。アッサムよ。ミルクティーが合うの。どうぞ。
She adds a splash of milk to Erika-san's cup, then gives it a quick stir with the spoon. The fragrance changes subtly. Erika-san takes a sip and comments on how good it is before immediately taking another sip. My Mitiya partner beams at the positive assessment.
さあ、高崎さんも。ありがとう。前にいただいたミルクティーとは味が違うような気がするわ。そうか、同じだろ。前のミルクティーはこれほど濃くはなくて、なんというかほのかにミントのような香りがしたわ。ご名答。以前入れたのはウバよ。上品なメントールの香りがするからそう感じたのね。
I smile at the way Takasaki-san glows under Rika-san's compliment. It would be a regular Sunday scene if it weren't for the conversation.
さっきの話に戻るけれど、八代先輩が言った言葉って、マリア像の足元には蛇が踏みつけられている。もう一つの鍵だとさ。
She repeats the words from last night's confrontation with Yuzuri Hayatsuro and Nerine Komikado. And I...
昨日のやりとりで思ったのだけど、やっぱり八代先輩とコミカド先輩が真実の女神なのかしら。それは違うのだとしたらアガベのタルパの正体。でもそれを話してくれたのは八代先輩だから。私はそれよりも八代譲り派が鍵を与えるという前に告げた言葉が気になる。
Her brow furrows as she addresses the other girls, the other two girls who are watching her over their own teacups.
コミカドネリネがこのまま去っていいのか尋ねた際に、八代譲り派が義理は果たしたと告げたんだ。こいつの意味するところがわかるか。八代先輩たちは誰かの命を受けて私たちと対立していた。
Bingo, she says. She drains the rest of her tea, then asks Rika-san for a refill. Of course, I understand the idea of them doing it as an obligation to someone else. But that still doesn't explain why or how does this like change or contribute to other things. I don't get it. Plus, Yatsushiro set Suo onto this path from the beginning, so why is she now trying to get in her way? Anyway.
それでお前の方はマジで高坂と会ったんだよな。
she says. Yes.
まゆりと会っていたことをみんなに明かした。
Erika-san and the others put themselves in danger to help me. I couldn't let them think that their courage was wasted and the confrontation with the older girls had been for nothing. So I told them that, although I wasn't able to find what I was looking for in Sister Basket's room, their actions had led me to being able to speak with Mayuri.
昨夜会ったことしか話せなかったけれど、
まさかまゆりがこの学院にいたなんて。
その可能性も考えちゃいたが、再会できたのは良かった。だが結局。
She trails off looking at me. I know what she's not saying. It's exactly what I've been doing my best not to think about. Hey Chidori, how's it going?
でも良かったじゃない。高坂さんを探すために始めたことでしょ。だったらもう謎解きはこれでおしまい？
Scratching her head roughly, Erika-san tells her that's not at all the
真
case.
実の女神、もしくはアガペのタルパに高坂がどこかへ幽閉されていて出てこられたってのなら、もろ手を挙げて喜ぶとこだが、昨日高坂は白羽と再会を果たしながら意味ありげな言葉を吐いて立ち去った。さて、そいつはどういうことだ？
まゆりは自分の意志で真実の女神のもとへ戻っていった。
いや、自分の意志ではなく、おそらくは何らかの弱みを握られているからだろう。自分の意志で戻るのなら鍵となる言葉を吐くわけがないからな。まゆりは助けを求めている。
Okay, everyone catches their collective breath and turns to look at me. Perhaps, as Erika-san is implying, Mayuri just wants to be left alone, but...
私には助けを求めている声が。まあ、白羽がそう言うならそうなんだろうよ。レーダー、高坂は何か弱みを握られるようなネタはあるのか？え？学院のどこかにいるのに会いに来られないってなら、何か弱みを握られ脅迫されてるって考える方が自然だろう。
I can't reveal Mayuri's secrets. Apparently she didn't get along with her mother. Eh? I have no idea. I can't reveal Mayuri's secrets seems to be it. Oh, I need to make a save first. Okay. Okay, gotta make a save. Oh. Alright. Information that can be used against somebody doesn't just have to be about the wrongdoing they've committed. It can also be something they don't want anyone else to know. In which case...
話せない。もう？まゆりは私たちアミティエにも秘密にしていることがあった。けれど。
Oh, so sorry. I skipped her too fast. Like, she was betrayed by her own mother and went on to develop feelings for the housekeeper who could take care of her. Or how she confessed to me that she only had feelings for other girls. I can't spill those secrets of hers, not even to my friends who have done so much for me.
また隠し事をするってのか。
Erika-san's words tear at my heart, bringing forth a fresh and vivid pain.
ごめんなさい。お前な。これは、この秘密は、まゆりの名誉に関わることなの。だから、話すことはできない。
I mean, those sound more like just details of her private life. So you can spin it in that way, like I know something private and I don't feel comfortable sharing it because it's about someone else. That's fair. I fail to see to what end someone would blackmail her with setting those like out into the world or something, and what they would gain by doing that. I don't know.
ごめんなさい。私、都合のいいことを言っているわね。 白羽
My eyes are swimming, making it hard to see her face clearly, but I feel her warm palm envelop my hand.
つまらねえこと言うなよ。私はな、お前に協力してやるって決めたんだ。
Her fingertips brush across the corners of my eyes, wiping away the gathering tears. Through my blurred vision, I see that she's smiling softly at me.
お前は笑っていた方がいい。エリカさん。そこまで。
Takasaki-san pulls Erika-san away from me and I feel a heat creep up my neck and stain my cheeks. Oh god. I wish they would address this a little bit because they keep like dropping these hints. There was even that part of the conversation with Yuzuriha where it sounded like Erika was going to the point of like, oh, I'm gonna confess my feelings for Suo and so on. From my point of view, it's very clear that Erika sees Suo as this very special person who was there when she felt alone and in the dark, and she represents this kind of like really bright source of warmth and the feeling that like everything's gonna be okay. There are people here that you can, you know, vibe with and you'll be fine. So I can understand why she holds a special place in Erika's heart, but there's nothing wrong with that. That doesn't mean that she's romantically interested in her or anything. Obviously, she is like head over heels for Chidori, and there's nothing wrong with holding these two sets of feelings for two different people, but they're like making it a little bit, I don't know. Ah.
それでは話を戻しましょう。それで高坂さんは何か話さなかったの？八代先輩が言ったマリア像の足元には蛇が踏みつけられている。そう、それと同じように鍵になる言葉とかは？
The words Mary spoke to me there in that space were cold. Where cold, pain, and everything else seemed so far away.
バスキア教諭の部屋に忍び込むのは危険だと。あの場所には鍵が眠っているって。
Scratching at her temple, she repeats the word key to herself. Erika-san, who so admires Sister Basket, starts to say something but stops herself.
確か一度だけは目をつぶろうって言っていたから邪魔されないと思うし。 そんなことを言っていたの？
Takasaki-san nods. Both she and Erika-san seem eager to take action. Erika-san and I are comparatively subdued.
どうしたっていうの？鍵があるって現地が取れたじゃない。そりゃそうだが、優秀な白羽先生が部屋を荒探しして見つけられなかったんだぞ。何か取っかかりがなくちゃ無駄に終わるだけだ。
Yeah, you need to know what you're looking for.
それは。
Takasaki-san quietly repeats that she did say she'd overlook it only this once, and silence descends over the room. For a while, we focus on drinking our tea and munching on almond cookies. The crunch of cookies melts with the occasional rattle of wind, filling the room with otherworldly echoes. Otherworldly. Thinking back on my conversation with Mayuri the previous night, it suddenly occurs to me that Mayuri said the exact same thing as Yatsushiro-senpai.
マリア像の足元には 蛇が踏みつけられている。え？私たちが八代先輩から聞いたのと同じ言葉。この言葉をマユリも言っていたわ。
I repeat the phrase, and then Takasaki-san abruptly leaps to her feet with a rallying, "Well then, let's go!" Where? Ah, to the statue, I guess. To the statue.
だからマリア像の元へよ。
Yeah.
意味深なセリフじゃない。
When she adds that she thinks it will be a fun adventure, the tension etched across everyone's faces eases, then...
そもそも、そのマリア像ってどこのマリア像を指しているんだ?
As Erika-san points out, here at the Saint Angreco Mission School, statues of the Virgin Mary are, no disrespect intended, a dime a dozen. From the large, stately monuments watching over us to small figurines of varying shapes and sizes, we're practically tripping over them. However,
本当にこんな場所にマリア像があるのかよ。
Erika-san asks critically, and her Amitia partner, who's pushing her wheelchair, responds without missing a beat.
イチゴやリンゴと怖い話談義になった時に話題に上がったことがあったのよ。学院の外に古いマリア像があるって。
Alright.
階段。そのマリア像だけど、白羽さんが言ったように代々二階屋の会の会長に伝えられてきているというなら古いものなのでしょ。まあそうなるな。だったらイチゴたちと見に行ったマリア像に間違いないわ。
Takasaki-san declares with confidence as we follow behind her along the snowy path. I recall meeting Rika-san and Mayuri on this very same path, walking toward the academy in the spring.
あの時は夜で薄暗かったこの道が本当に怖かった。
I think of my grandfather's advice. The tougher things get, the more you should smile. I force my facial muscles to contort into a smile, but I'm not sure it works. My grandfather was...
着いたわ。ここよ。
We come to a stop earlier than expected. I knew we'd have to cut through the forest, but...
獣道だけれど道があるみたいね。よかった。車椅子で道なき道を踏破したくないからな。それじゃ進むとしようぜ。ええ、行きましょう。これが
We make our way carefully along the snow-covered track until the forest opens up abruptly before us. Raising our eyes from our feet, we're greeted by the beautiful figure of the Virgin Mary. Lost for words, we simply stare in silence at the figure before us, its hands pressed together in graceful prayer. Surrounded by the dark of the forest and dusted with snow, the sublime image seems to have stepped straight out of a religious painting.
誰かが管理しているようだな。
The mundane observation brings everyone's attention back. We approach the statue of the Virgin Mary and start to inspect it.
確かに森の中にあるのに汚れが目立っていないものね。でも誰がきれいにしているのかしら。さあ、ここにマリア像があるのを知っている人の方が珍しいし、学院の雇っている清掃員じゃないかしら。
Their words seem to go in one ear and out the other, flowing away into the forest. My eyes remain fixed on a single spot. My gaze doesn't break away from the snake Mayuri spoke of.
まじまじと見たことはなかったが、本当に蛇を踏みつけているんだな。
We all stare down at the snake beneath the Virgin Mary's feet. This is what Yasushiro Senpai's warning was about. Spotting what looks like some kind of mark on the snake's head, I brush away the snow covering it.
これは星の中に数字？
Oh wow, that's a lot of detail, okay. A symbol has been carved into the snake's head, a star, and inside the star the number 23.
数字？え、何これ？お前が見に来た時は何も刻まれていなかったのか？
She admits that she didn't really look. Rika-san peers fearfully over my shoulder.
そうか。当然、マリア像にはこんな飾りはつけられてない。だとするとこいつが。八代先輩とマユリが伝えようとしていた鍵だと思う。
Running a finger over the snake's head, I pull open a mental drawer and ask myself, what does this tell me?
もしかして、イクトゥス。
Hey, Iki, what?
白原さん、この模様が何か知っているの？
Cute.
この文様の意味はわからないわ。ただイクトゥスのようなものではないかと思ったの。不勉強だけれど、それってキリスト教が迫害されていた時期に互いに信者同士だとわかるように 隠しシンボルを描いて確認し合っていたの。この文様が？違う。イクトゥスは小さな子供が描く魚のようなマークだよ。まず一人がハンコを描く。相手もキリスト教徒ならハンコを描く。それで魚のようなマークになることからクリスチャンフィッシュとも呼ばれた。
Oh, I
そ
didn't
れが
know
イクトゥ
this.
スだ。それじゃあこの文様とは違うじゃない。つまり白羽が言いたいのは、この文様が真実の女神、もしくはアガペのタルバのシンボルだとしたら。
The words stumble from my lips and echo ominously through the forest, leaving a heavy silence in their wake. This has only reinforced my belief that, like Erika-san said, there is someone controlling Yatsushiro-senpai.
つまり学院にはこのシンボルを持つ真実の女神の神派がいるってことね。
We don't know for certain that this symbol is an ictus. But there is a force to Takasaki-san's words. A faint outline of our enemy is beginning to form. Until they're visible, I don't need to concern myself with them. Once they come into focus, I can be on the alert and come up with the strategy. But how am I supposed to deal with something as incorporeal as a ghost? I ask myself this as I gaze into the eyes of the snake. They seem to burn with hatred. As my media partner predicted, the unseasonably balmy weather lasts for no more than a day. Bitter winter comes swirling back in, bringing fresh snow to replace the drifts that melted under the briefly dazzling sunshine. Amid the falling snow, we search for companions to the ictus-like symbol we found on the statue of the Virgin Mary. First, we decide to check the Academy's other statues to determine whether the one in the forest is the only statue that bears such a mark. We inspect every single one we can find, from the small figurines in our room to the waist-high effigy in the gardens. After examining them with almost neurotic thoroughness, we confirm that only the statue in the woods is adorned with what we are, for convenience's sake, calling an ictus. Next up is to find out whether such an ictus is to be found in any other images of the Virgin Mary. We theorize as to what the number 23 carved into the center of the star on the snake's head could mean. Perhaps the number identifies a follower of the goddess of truth. Perhaps putting together several such numbers reveals coordinates, and so on and so forth. So we decide to look not only at statues of the Virgin Mary, but any and all religious paintings and sculptures. However, during rehearsal for the upcoming play, I think back on the status updates I received from my friends the night before. Although we didn't find any more stars with numbers in them, we have discovered that stars are a relatively common symbol. Accordingly, we found plenty of them on things without any religious significance. It seemed like good news when I first heard there were lots of similar symbols popping up in our searches. But when I heard from Takasaki-san that she came across a whole bunch in the library, I felt my spirit sag. Still, it must mean something that the only ictus to be found is the one on the statue of Mary out in the woods. I'd been puzzling over what to do if we ended up with several different numbers, perhaps multiply them together. But if we only have a single number, then we can consider it in isolation. That symbol and that number. Suddenly someone shakes my shoulder and I blink at them.
どうしたの？Hayumi、次はそうちゃんの番だよ。
Flustered, I look down at the script, but I don't know where we're at. Looking up, I see Ichigo-san and Ringo-san looking back at me from over their own scripts, along with Tsuwabuki-san, who is regarding me with narrowed eyes.
ごめんなさい。どこからかしら。ね、ほら、ここ。お姉様、とても素敵なドレスですね。
She points to my line in the script and I quickly read it in my head before reciting it aloud.
綺麗。お姉様、とても素敵なドレスですね。ありがとう、サンドリオン。私もとっても気に入っているのよ。ハイかぶりにありがとうなんて言う必要はないわ。おべんちゃらを言っているだけなのだからね。
Oh my god. Ichigo is vicious.
そこまでにしておきなさい。ハイかぶりを相手にする暇なんてないのだからね。舞踏会までにドレスを仕上げなければならないのだよ。
The twins are playing the parts of the evil stepsisters and Tsuwabuki-san the stepmother. We're only reading out the lines, but they put on an enthusiastic performance nonetheless. The twins are putting in their all, but I'm especially surprised by Tsuwabuki-san's impassioned delivery. She genuinely seems to resent me.
私も美しいドレスを着られたらどんなに幸せでしょう。
As I say my line, I glance around the room at my classmates, sorry about that, who are practicing their own parts. Others are discussing the costumes or painting the backdrops for the stage.
演劇会が近づいているのね。
We're mostly done with the costumes, the props, and the set dressings, curtains, and other mechanisms for the show. The only thing we're missing is...
2回屋の会をまとめてお忙しいとは思いますが、さすがに身に入らなすぎでは。
Ichigo-san shakes my shoulder for the second time, and I look at the other girls as though gazing out at the world through an aquarium.
なんだか調子が悪そうだけれど。
I'm carrying an unbearable frustration, like I'm just one step away from my goal, but it's still somehow out of reach. The reality that the play is right around the corner hasn't sunk in.
ええ、平気よ。ごめんなさい。寝不足で。本当に？
I falter beneath her concerned gaze, and a gleam of suspicion appears in Ichigo-san's eyes as she questions me.
隠していることがあるんだね。
Everyone looks surprised and a little dismayed to see that I've invited the twins to my room that night. I know why, but...
いちごにリンゴ。あ、白羽さん、あなた。佐々木さんたちに話すのね。
I made the decision after hearing what the twins had to
お
say.
前の判断だ。私は反対しない。
Erika-san warns the Sasakis that it's going to be difficult for them to hear this, and they respond tensely.
覚悟してる。ええ。それでも、私たちはスオちゃんが困っているなら、協力するのが当たり前なのです。
They both smile at me.
そうですよね。いちごね。うん。当然だよ、リンゴ。
I mean...
親友だから。
Oh, cute. They know I'm hiding something, and I know that I can't possibly refuse to talk to the first friends I ever made.
そうだったな。お前らが白羽の友人第1号だったものな。友人1号です。2号ですよ。
Everyone laughs as Rika-san protests loudly that she was actually the first. I address the twins as I take on my Amitia partner's role and pour tea for them.
いちごさん、りんごさん、夏から始まったまゆりを探すためにしていたことを話すわ。
And so I do. I tell them, as I did Erika-san and Takasaki-san, and then Rika-san, about everything that happened in the spring, and everything that's gone on since then. About all the hurdles I faced seeking the reason behind Mayuri's sudden disappearance, and how I overcame each of them. And why I became the president of the Council of Nicaea. The keys, Shion basket, and the Talpa of Agape. My chance meeting with Mayuri. Then how we ended up facing off against Yatsushiro-senpai and Komikado-senpai. At first I thought about leaving out the parts about our upperclassmen, but faced with their earnest gazes as they listened intently to my story, I was hesitant to lie to them. Contrition towards the two of them, standing there silent as mice, wells up within me. I wonder whether it was too soon to tell them about Yatsushiro-senpai. However, I stare at their bowed heads, sure that I heard a low whisper from one of them.
はい。なんじゃとていちごね、おかしな言葉遣いになっているですよ。言葉遣いをリンゴに言われたくないよ。会長選に出たのはそんな理由があったから。シオンバスキアって。怖い話好きの私としてはアガペのタルパが気になりますけどね。
As the two of them start discussing what I've just told them, I find myself turning to look at Rika-san in amazement.
そのいちごさんたちは八代先輩と小見門先輩のことショックじゃないの？それはもちろん驚きましたですが。
They glance at one another. I have no idea what emotion they're communicating,
ショッ
but
クじゃないわけがないわ。
I say something encouraging. You must be upset. Option is say something encouraging. I mean, that's fine. This can also work, but it depends like how you interpret it, like and how it's said, because it's like it can be like an acknowledgement of their possible, you know, internal conflict about the whole situation. That doesn't necessarily feel like a bad choice, but okay, the choice is say something encouraging. Fine. I'm sure they must be upset, even if they're not showing it.
その話した私が言うのも変だけれど。え？何がです？二人のために。そうだ、何か美味しいものを作るわ。
Yes, bribe them with treats.
美味しいもの？だったら元気が出るように三人で何かそのお出かけとか。それでいいの？スオちゃんと二人きりで遊べるなんて貴重だよ。何しよっかな。スオちゃんは三人と言ったのですよ。聞こえませんな。
Hearing their cheerful banter reassures me slightly.
二人とも落ち込んだりしていないの？
Erika-san pokes Rika-san in the ribs for her overly blunt question, and Rika-san hurriedly apologizes. The twins look at us awkwardly in the ensuing silence. Then, scratching her cheek, Ichigo-san speaks.
いや、すっごく気遣われているみたいだから言うけど、私的に別に気にしてないよ。私としても同情です。本当に？だって八代先輩と小見門先輩が敵になったわけだし。スオちゃんから事情を聞きましたが、私たちとしてはゆずりは先輩と小見門先輩の2人が敵になったとは思ってませんよ。え？話を聞いていて思ったんだけど、なんというか敵対のような形をとってはいるけど、そこまでひどい目にはあってない。
私は頭は打ったけどな。
Yeah, that part was, yeah.
それは話を聞く分には自己っぽいし、なんていうか追い込もうとするなら
Oh, I'm so sorry.
もっとうまくやれたんじゃないかな。
What Ichigo-san's saying makes sense. If they really wanted to play dirty, there are plenty of ways they could have done so.
それに一度だけ猶予を与えるって言っていたですよね。それもゆずりは先輩らしいです。変わっていない印象を受けますですよ。学院に戻ってきたっていうのは驚きだけど、また会えるのはです。
Although it seems an overly optimistic assessment, their words give the rest of us hope. How wonderful it would be to know that they aren't working against us.
あの二人が完全に敵として向かってきたら。
Yeah, I have a hard time believing that too, but they were quite unpleasant, at least to say that. So I wonder why. They're a fearsome duo. I don't want them as my enemies.
それじゃあこれからはお前たちも仲間ってことでいいな。
聞くだけやぼってやつだよ。
なんだよ。
エリカ先生が仲間と認めてくれたのが嬉しいのとめったにないことだから驚いているのですよ。
エリカ先生。
仲間って言っても仕事仲間とかそういうやつだからな。
Seeing Erika-san flush faintly warms my heart. Watching everyone chatter together, I feel a sincere gladness that I came to the academy.
いいから話を仕切り直すぞ。今白羽が話した高坂を探す過程で得た鍵たちだが、何か引っかかることはあったか？
引っかかる？ 長々今までの経緯を話したのは誠意ってやつもあるだろうが、多角的な視点を欲しいからってのもあるんだよ。お前たち双子は独特なものの見方をするからな。
もしかして褒められてるの？褒められているんですよ、いちごね。私としてはそうですね。
見てみたいって焼け落ちたっていう聖堂跡とか？
映画の地獄のモーテルみたいな感じなんじゃないかと、私としてはワクワクしていますですよ。
そういえばまだ聖堂跡は見に行ったことはないわね。
かなり森の奥にあるから。聖堂跡の方は今からっていうのは無理だけど、もう一つの方は直接見たいところですな。
もう一つって？
もちろんシオン・バスキアって子が残した手紙の標本だよ。
It is difficult to understand the sum of a person's life. Some people will tell you it's measured by the ones left behind. Some believe it can be measured in faith. Some say by love. Other folks say life has no meaning at all. I believe that you measure yourself by the people who measured themselves by you. Oh, what a line! What? I believe that you measure yourself by the people who measured themselves by you. Interesting. It's kind of like a recursive thing. Alright. Since the scene has changed, give me a couple minutes to make a run to the bathroom and I will be right back. Thank you for your understanding. Alrighty, I am back. So, surrounded by the silent specimens, I think of those lines from the movie, The Bucket List. How heartwarming it is to have friends who care for me and measure themselves by me. Damp, cold air pulls in the darkened specimen room, but I don't feel the faintest shiver.
どうだ？何か引っかかることはあったか？
Erika-san asks the twins after they've finished reading the letters from the specimen jars. Ichigo-san turns dazed eyes to her while Ringo-san looks
ス
thoughtful.
オちゃんが話してくれた通りだった。
どうした？
なんかすごく寂しい。
Yeah, the rest of us feel the same way. We all looked over the letters again too, and I felt the same gloom reading them again that I did the first time.
リンゴさんは
She prefaces her observation by saying that she herself is generally of the same opinion. Then,
なんというか、一つだけ違和感を得た箇所があったのですよ。
she says, we put the letters down on the table and gather around her.
それってどこの箇所かしら？
貴船さゆりさんが残した手紙です。
With that, she holds the specimen jar out to me. Just thinking back on the raw emotion of that letter, oozing with the pain and sadness of losing her amitié, makes my eyes prickle hotly.
この結びの文なのですが。
She indicates the lines. Of course, I should have faced up to her. I should have apologized and made things right. But because of my own willful stubbornness, my amitié is gone, and I will never see her again. Rest in peace, my beloved Shion. The scrawled closing lines speak of her deeply held regret. I silently reread the lines, then look up at Ringo-san.
最後に安らかに眠りますようにとして終わっているなら気にならないのですが、走り書きのような文字でこの。
She points to the hastily scribbled words.
もしこの手紙を読んだ者がいるなら、シオンバスキアの墓から花を奪ってほしい。花を手向ける権利もない私からの願いです。
Did they read this part when we were looking at the letter before? Because this sounds new. We've all noticed this part before, but never discussed it, huh? I guess so. It seems like a final castigation, Sayuri berating herself for her sins.
なんというか、少しおかしく
Yeah,
ないですか？
it is odd, but I'm not sure what to make of
こ
it.
の手紙を書いた時、墓前に花を手向けたけれど、後から自分の行為を思い出して悲しむ権利もないと卑下しているのだと感じたわ。
私も同じくそう読み取ったわ。
そうですか。私としては悪いことをしたと後悔したのなら、亡くなった者への尊厳のためにも前を向くと思ったのですが。
Yeah, why, if you really regretted it, why would you invoke that someone else would go and do it on your behalf through a letter that most likely people wouldn't be reading and not anytime soon? So that part is weird.
はあ、確かに私的にも同じ意見かな。
Ichigo-san nods.
花をどかしちゃうよりも花でいっぱいにしてたくさん謝ってたくさん楽しかったことを話しかけるよ。
あなたたち強くなったのね。
Aw, that's cute. Ichigo-san puffs her chest out proudly. And I get the feeling. As soon as I get their words tucked away in a drawer inside my brain, the vague silhouette lingering in my mind sharpens into focus. That shadow that's always been just out of reach.
シオンバスキアの墓に花を手向け奪う。貴船さゆりが求めたのは。
スオさん、どうしたの？
分かったかもしれない。
本当に？
ありがとう、いちごさん、りんごさん。二人のお話から輪郭がはっきりとしたわ。
Great.
そろそろ幕引きといけそうかい。
I stare intently into Erika-san's eyes as though trying to extract something from her face. Then I close my eyes listening to the sound of the snow outside falling against the window.
もう一つだけこのピースをつなぎ合わせるための鍵が足りない。
In the darkness behind my eyelids, Shion Basket smiles softly at me, while Sayuri Kifune reaches out a hand imploringly. The sunset gilds their features, making it seem like a scene from a movie. In terms of genre, it would be a coming-of-age tale. An ensemble movie like American Graffiti. A young girl set to leave town comes to say a final goodbye to the nun she forged a close relationship with. The nun's cheeks are flushed and she smiles at the girl as though gazing upon a delicate flower, then lays a hand on her shoulder and nods. She must have given the girl's decision her blessing. Side by side in the entrance, the two head inside.
うまくいったみたいだね。作戦決行ですよ。
The whisper resounds in my ear and I'm instantly returned to reality. This isn't a movie. Right now I'm standing guard so that we can finally get the key. As I watch Takasaki-san and Sister Basket head toward the ballet classroom, I think back on the events of last night. In the specimen room, Ringo-san gave me the hint I needed to move toward a
もう
resolution.
一つだけこのピースをつなぎ合わせるための鍵が
I said aloud. When asked what this key could be,
バスキア教諭の部屋にあるという鍵よ。
I answered,
鍵それって
白羽が説明しただろ。バスキア教諭の部屋には解決のための鍵が隠されているって。
alright. Everyone fell silent. We all knew what this meant, yet no one was willing to say it out loud. Erika-san muttered something about the Atsushiro-senpai, then glanced at me like she'd said something thoughtless.
なんで探しに行かないの？
Ichigo-san contributed as though a ball had been thrown and she was wondering why no one was going to pick it up.
委員長も同じことを聞いたがね。白羽が部屋を荒探しして見つけられなかったものだ。取っかかりが必要なんだよ。
とっかかり？
だから鍵は何かの日記だとか写真だとか、そういった当たりをつけなければ二の舞を演じることになっちまうだろ。
二の舞っていうのが何なのかわからないけど、鍵ならすぐ見つかるじゃん。
なあ？
だから鍵でしょ？確かに小さいだろうから見つけるのは面倒かもだけどさ。
She said it as though it was the most obvious thing in the world.
鍵。私は鍵は何かの比喩だと思っていたけれど。
Even factoring in my own deductions, it makes sense that it should be an actual key.
何？どうしたの？
お手柄ってことだよ。で、部屋の中でそれらしい鍵はあったのか？
I shook my head. I did come across several keys, but they were all familiar to me, such as the key to the greenhouse.
なら部屋のどこかに隠したってことになるが、隠せるような場所は。
She suddenly stopped, her mind probably also jumping back to when we searched Komikado-senpai's room. We looked at one another, at one another and grinned.
ブラウン神父の同心だわ。
Innocence of father? What?
木の葉を隠すなら森の中ってことか。だったら鍵を隠している場所は、おそらく大量のテディベアのどれかだ。
Okay then. Alright.
どうしたのスオちゃん？手はず通り私たちが見張っていますから手早く。
Thanking the two of them for agreeing to stand watch, I set off for the dormitories. Ah, what's wrong with my throat? As I hurry back to the dorms, I think back again on our conversation in the specimen room.
鍵を隠している場所の見当がついたのは喜ばしいけれど、一つ問題があるわ。
Without thinking, Erika-san and I had clasped hands in delight, but Takasaki-san regarded us with a troubled expression.
何が？
何がだよ、なん。
We unentangled our hands and thought on Takasaki-san's words.
別に手当たり次第に調べればいいんじゃないの？
Uh-huh.
背中にファスナーでもあればいいですが、そういうのがなかったら一つ一つ人形を割いて調べるのはどうかということですよ。
Not only would that take too long, but none of us had any desire to disembowel innocent teddy bears.
まあ修復するにしても持ち出せるのは一つか二つ。こちらも当たりをつけるしかないか。
大切な鍵をしまうのだから、一番思い出があるぬいぐるみじゃないかしら。つまり一番古いテディベアを引き裂けばいいわけね。
Dissect. Poor teddy bear.
人聞きが悪すぎるだろおい。
一番古いぬいぐるみが可能性が高いのは認めるけれど、
なんだ。
以前部屋を探した際にぬいぐるみも調べたけれど、みんなきちんとお手入れされて綺麗だったの。
見た目の汚れだとか古さでは判別で。
はい、sorry.
見た目の汚れだとか古さでは判別できないですか。
Ringo-san voiced my concern and everyone frowned.
確かテディベアって年代によって作りとか変わらなかった？なんていうか、こう毛艶とか手がこうピンとなっていないとか。
ああ、そういえば年代によって特徴的なパーツが違うってのは耳にしたことがあるが。
Everyone looked to Erika-san as though she must know how to distinguish them.
なんとなく聞き覚えがあるって程度だよ。自慢じゃないが、ぬいぐるみをプレゼントされたことなんて生まれてこの方ないぞ。
私も小さい頃人形をもらったことはあるけれど、私的にも似た感じだよ。どっちかっていうと外で遊ぶのが好きだったから、お人形は以下当分ですよ。
白羽はどうなんだ。ぬいぐるみとか好きそうな見た目じゃないかよ。
I recall my father giving me a doll at some point, but my introverted self preferred watching movies or reading books to playing with toys. Surmising my answer from my silence, Erika-san seemed unsurprised.
どうしたの？
古い年代が分かればいいのよね。
だからそれが難しいって。おい、まさか。
My media partner responded crisply, stroking her braids and looking proud of herself.
アンティークのぬいぐるみの目利きなら任せて。
Antique. Okay, that's the level we're going to. Okay. Sister Basket's room is as still and silent as the forest outside. Oh my god, look at the teddies. Look at all the teddies. Look at this one here. It's like waving. Hello. Hi. To me, the simple yet tasteful furniture and interior decor come across as plain and frugal. I feel like the orderly minimalist room reflects Sister Basket's life.
手早く済ませよ
お願い、リッカさん。
Yes, okay, let's see. With a grave nod, she moves towards the one thing in this room that displays a strong sense of personality, the many teddy bears. She peers earnestly into each bear's face, inspects each one's stomach and paws, turns them over to look at their tails, and then examines the ribbons around their necks.
結構かかりそうだな。
I thought that anything old would have distinctive differences. I address my immediate partner as she carefully scrutinizes each of the dozen bears. Is it going to take much longer? Is there anything I can help with? I guess we would offer to help, right? Because this sounds a little bit like, oh, how long are you taking? Yep. We're offering to help. Okay. I feel like I should make myself useful.
リッカさん、何か私でも手伝えそうなことはない？
I ask her. She stops and turns to me.
大丈夫。せっかくスオンさんに協力できるチャンスなんだもの。私に任せて。
She beams brilliantly at me. It's hard to grasp the passage of time in this room, which is as still and silent as the wintry forest outside. If someone told me we'd been in here for hours, I'd believe them the same as if they said it had been mere minutes.
しかし、委員長がぬいぐるみ好きだったとは驚いたよな。
Perhaps unable to bear the silence any longer, Erika-san gently breaks it. My amitié partner responds without pausing in her
小
task.
さい頃はたくさんのぬいぐるみや人形をもらったわ。
へえ、物として残るプレゼントか。委員長としては紅茶の茶葉とかカップとかの方が良かったんじゃねえの？
Oh, I just noticed this one here has a little honey pot. And it looks as if it dipped its paw in the honey and is about to lick it. How cute is that? Jeez.
幼い頃だったし、お人形やぬいぐるみをもらえて嬉しかったわよ。でももう持っていないけどね。
そういや兄弟関係は聞いたことがなかったが、妹にでもお下がりであげたとかかい？
Rika-san shakes her head, gazing at the sea of teddy bears before her. I threw them all away, she says.
それって
That's a little bit like at least donate them or something. Feeling as though we've touched on something we shouldn't have. Neither Erika-san nor I pursue the topic any further. Okay. My media partner doesn't seem to want to talk about it either. She continues her work in silence until...
あったわ。
With that, she holds a single teddy bear out to me.
これがぬいぐるみたちの中で一番古いものがこれよ。アンティークのものだわ。
私には違いが全くわからないな。
I'm with Erika-san on this. However, Erika-san turns the teddy bear over to show us the back.
やっぱり
The thread is the same color as the fabric, so it's hard to tell unless you're looking closely, but sure enough, there are stitches.
これだったらなんとかなりそうね。
After a brief inspection, she starts to unpick the
よ
stitches.
くそんな細かい作業できるよな。
痕跡を残してはならないもの。
まるで犯人だ。いや、犯人そのものか。
There's an indefinable expression on her face. She must feel guilty for betraying the confidence of the teacher she respects so much.
これかしら。
Oh, it's a flower. Okay. Rika-san holds up an old ornate key like something from a fairy tale. It's the flower, by the way, that is the symbol of the winter episode. The head bears the crest of St. Angrecum Academy. The key is the puzzle piece that will connect all the
この
others.
鍵でいいの？ありがとうリッカさん。お手柄だわ。
As I take the key in my hand, hope surges in my chest. This key would lead me to Mairi. I hold it to my chest and close my eyes. As the wind batters the window, I hear the labored screech of a secret door finally being pushed open. Okay, okay. Standing beneath the dark midwinter sky, I learn that the forest is not as silent as it may at first seem. A bird lets out a reedy chirp, startled by the sound of a twig bending and breaking beneath the weight of the snow, and the whoomph of a drift hitting the ground. The night bird's cry quickly fades, replaced by the faint sound of the wind twisting between the trees like breath rattling through diseased lungs. Wow, wow, the comparisons here, like, it's okay. Okay. My eyes are used to the dark by now. I look up at the sky. The stars in their multitudes shine brightly through the crisp, clear air, overwhelming in their dazzling intensity. This made me think of a song from the musical Les Miserables. There is a character that sings about the stars, and he actually says, "In your multitudes," or something like that. Yeah. As I gaze up at the starry tapestry above, almost afraid it's about to come falling down on me, the whisper of the wind in my ears, I find myself smiling. What I'm about to do is strangely familiar.
どうしたの？
Oh, sorry, I thought I was about to read that. My media partner asks from beside me, and I tell her that I'm fine. She doesn't look convinced, but then she suddenly stiffens, having spotted something in the distance. Squinting in the direction she's looking, I hear the faint crunch of snow beneath feet, and then 4 shadows appear out of the darkness. My fellow
待たせ
travelers.
たみたいだな。
平気よ。私たちが早く来すぎたの。
Takasaki-san jokes to us from behind Erika-san's wheelchair.
まるで恋人同士の待ち合わせみたいね。
I smile at her. Then, from behind them,
早く行こう。片場未了町に見つか かっちゃうよ。This
This. The twins gently urge us on.
お前たちらしからぬ真っ当な意見な。それじゃ。
ええ、学院へ向かいましょう。
I pick my way along carefully, squinting down at a path carpeted with wind-whirled snow. I decided to take the same route as the last time we snuck into the school building during the Hookman incident. Sorry. The fresh, untrodden snow is soft as foam, and my feet sink deeply into it. Every step seems to echo like the sound of a creature grinding its jaws in slow mastication. The rest of the world is silent around us as we make our way to the landmark elm tree, then cut through the forest. The path leading to the clubhouse is barely more than an animal track, and while the snow is littered with tiny paw prints, ours are the only human treads. Turning back from time to time to check on the others, I lead the way, making sure to pick the easiest path for the rest of them, especially Erika-san. Yeah, this is what I was also thinking. How is Erika-san faring if you are going like this through the snow? What is she doing? At last we arrive at the clubhouse
見回り
building.
の人はいないようね。まだ巡回の時間までは間があるもの。ほら、出番よ。
人使いが荒いやつだぜ。そのうち借りは返してもらうからな。
Despite her grumblings, she quickly pulls out her lockpicking kit and gets to work on the door. Having said that, it doesn't put up much of a fight.
3アウトチェンジだ。
She unlocks the door in no time at all, then informs me that she'll take half my lunch as payment.
半分だなんて全部あげるわ。
Dude, don't skip your lunch. What the heck?
少しだけつまむのがうまいんだよ。
ねえ、エリカ。
あ？
深夜の学校に忍び込む時の注意事項とかある？
そうだな。一つだけ気にかけた方が賢明なことがある。
The twins lean forward, hanging on her every word. She's gonna pull an Erika. She's not gonna be serious.
入るときは靴底をよく拭いてから上がること。土足で上がるときのマナーだよ。
エリカ先生。こんな時に冗談を言えるなんてさすがよね。
She shrugs, then looks at the rest of us, urging us on. The tension has eased slightly. I attempt to open the door quietly, but my heart leaps into my throat when it instead lets out a loud squeak that seems to echo through the entire building. But the noise probably only sounded so loud to my own nervous ears. No one else seems concerned by it as they slip inside the darkened library.
夜の図書室ってなんか素敵ね。
My immediate partner murmurs, looking up at the shelves of books like silent catacombs. I steal another quick glance at what she found, then...
さて。
Erika-san claps her hands together to get our attention, then looks up at me.
そろそろ解けたっていう謎を話しちゃくれないか?
After one more glance toward the place where all of this will lead, I pull open one of my mental drawers. Then, from the drawer, I take out the key I've been seeking all this time, along with the keys my friends have found for me, and connect the pieces together. Okay, maybe now we get some clarity. The first thing I need to explain to them isn't the identity of the goddess of truth, but the steps that led me to it. The things shown to me by Shion Basket and Sairi Kifune. How these pointed me toward two keys. The first being the phrase uttered by both Mairi and Yatsushiro-senpai, the statue of the Virgin Mary stands atop a snake. The second being the scribbled sentences at the end of Sairi's letter. If anyone should read this letter, I ask this of you, take the flowers from Shion Basket's grave. I had no right to lay them there. I need to think about what their letters revealed to me. What was the intent behind Sairi Kifune's letter? She wanted someone to burn the letter, she wanted someone to reveal the letter, She wanted someone to interpret the meaning of the epitaph on the grave. She intended to curse the reader of the letter. Definitely not the last one. I thought it could have referred to something about the grave, so I guess interpret the epitaph on the grave, maybe? But I don't know if it was about the epitaph. Anyway. The other ones I don't know. To burn the letter? I don't think so. To reveal it? To whom and what would that achieve? Curse. Curse. Right, so the guide says the answer to interpret the meaning is the correct one. As per Umineko standards, we approve. We approve, right? Yes, that's the conclusion I arrived at after talking with Ringo-san. And it was those words that reinforced my belief that I was right. The statue of the Virgin Mary stands atop a snake. Those words led me to the statue of the Virgin Mary bearing the mark of the ictus. The ictus, a star carved into the snake's head with the number 23 in the center of it. Combined with the key from Sari, it showed me the way to the answer. What does the number 23 signify? Solve the epitaph to get 10 tons of mighty hidden in the walls. Jesus Christ. The number of people taken by the goddess of truth. No, I don't think so. A date related to the goddess of truth. The number of people to be sacrificed before graduation. No, it has to be something fixed, not something that can be volatile or like could change over time and stuff. So it's either a date or the last one, the number of a psalm in the Bible. I don't know how psalms are numbered. I guess they just have like one number, right? That might be it. How can 23 be a date, right? How would you interpret it? It should be like a day, okay, but a day in what month? Like, maybe the last one? But it's just like, just gut feeling. I have no idea what it means. Yes, the guide says that this is the last one, the number of a psalm. Okay. For a while, the mystery couldn't be solved with a single key. I was able to find the answer with everyone's help by collaborating with them and compiling information. Having put every piece of the puzzle in its rightful place, I thank everyone for all their help so far.
そんな当たり前のことだわ。そうだよ。友達が困っているなら助けるのは当然だよ。こればかりはいちごねの言う通りですよ。
Bear wanted the people sacrificed before graduation. Oh god.
今更だな。ええ、私たちは強制されたのではなくて、自分の意志であなたの助けになりたいと思ったのよ。
Tears well up in my eyes. I thanked them again, telling them that I wouldn't have been able to get to the bottom of this without their help.
その謎ってやつを早く聞かせちゃくれないか。暖房が効いてない図書室は存外に寒いんでね。
Stole the words right out of my mouth. Not the freezing part, but the part about can you just tell us what that is? Because even with the answers to those two questions, I still don't know what it means.
確かに底冷えする寒さだわ。ねえ白羽さん、こっそり内緒話をするために人気のないところで話すのはわかるけれど、図書室でないとダメなの？
I can't help but smile at the way she says this. After all, she's the one who hinted that I should do it here.
ええ、今から話す事柄についてこの場所が適切だと思ってみんなへ集まってもらったの。
Is that where the key can be used or why?
この場所が？
みんなへ協力してもらい、さまざまな鍵を得ることができた。エリカさんと高崎さんが八代先輩と対峙してくれたから得られた言葉。リンゴさんとイチゴさんが助言してくれたことで得たピースたち。そしてリッカさんが。
I smile at my Amitia partner who's staring at me with the most earnest look in her eyes.
リッカさんが協力してくれたおかげで、すべての謎へ至るための鍵を得ることができた。
As I speak, I glance toward the place again, telling them that this is where those 3 keys have led me.
3つの鍵って？
一つ目の鍵はエリカさんが八代先輩と対峙したことで得た言葉。マリア像の足元には蛇が踏みつけられている。
Mary said the exact same words to me.
その言葉から高崎さんの助力を得て森の中のマリア像からあのイクトゥスめいた文様を見つけることができた。
蛇の頭にあった星の中に23と書かれていたマークね。
みんなで同じ文様がないか探したけれど他にはなかったわ。
I tell her that their search meant something regardless of the outcome, but their smiles are faint. They obviously think I'm just being nice.
ただその一つの鍵だけでは謎を解くことはできなかった。八代先輩や小見門先輩なら分かったのかもしれないけれど、
二人が
二つ目の鍵は立花さんが標本室で手紙の標本を見つけてくれたから分かったことよ。あの手紙がなければお手上げだった。
そんな偶然で。
委員長はここぞという時には決めてくれる女だからな。
確かにバレエの演技をとってもそうね。
Rika-san strokes a hand down her braids, blushing under the compliment. I tell them that Ringo-san's comments upon reading the letters proved to be the final push I needed.
私がって。
ええ、リンゴさんは手紙の中で一つだけ違和感を覚えた箇所があると言ってくれた。
それは確か貴船さゆりさんが残した手紙の結びですか。
Nodding, I repeat the words aloud.
もしこの手紙を読んだ者がいるなら、シオンバスキアの墓から花を奪ってほしい。花を手向ける権利もない私からの願いです。
確かに意味深な言葉だが、そいつは。
The Mayuri in the Wall mystery, as well as any future mysteries, might warrant an Umineko-like perspective. Oh god. Oh lord.
謝れずに旅立ってしまったアミティエに対する開墾の念から出た言葉ではないの？
I mean, if I remember the epitaph correctly, it does mention something about, like, a flower not being able to bloom or something. It mentioned something about flowers, but I don't know what that means.
私も初めはそう思ったの。でも、いちごさんが言った言葉が私にひらめきを与えてくれた。
Ichigo-san tilts her head in confusion, and I repeat back what she said to me. I'd covered them with flowers and apologized loads and talked to them about happy
こい
things.
つらしい前向きな言葉だが、それが。
Erika-san cuts herself off, staring at me intently. I think she just realized for herself how all the keys fit together. Oh, brother, okay.
私は貴船さんが残した最後の結びの言葉は手紙を見つけた者へ向けた鍵だと思った。その鍵は彼女の手紙の結びにあるシオンバスキアの墓から花を奪ってほしい。
Opening my notebook, I showed them what I have written
こ
there.
れは碑文？シオンバスキアのお墓にあったっていう。
ええ、シオンバスキアの台座に刻まれていた碑文よ。ここにはこう書かれている。
I take a little breath then, staring off into the distance. Read out the words as though I'm doing a recitation. We have plenty of training with that.
静粛なもの、小さき花が眠る。冷たい息吹にさらされ、無慈悲な死を遂げ、死の影の谷を歩く。美しき花よ、汝はつぼみのまま刈り取られた。神は最も清らかなものを傍らに置く。天井の枯れることのない庭へ、汝という花を咲かせたもうた。
My voice echoes through the darkened library, the words of the epitaph freezing our hearts in their cold sorrow. Oh, I think I might have pushed this a little bit too far down. Yeah, there we go. And just a sec. Because the light has changed. There we go. This should be better. There we go. Oh.
シオンさんが愛されていたことがわかる言葉ね。
No one raises their voice in objection to Takasaki-san's murmur.
この碑文からはシオンさんがキリスト教の洗礼を受け
Yeah.
若くして亡くなったことが読み取れるわ。そして花という単語が多く散りばめられていることも。
Everyone looks down at the words on the page of my notebook, nodding thoughtfully.
碑文は4行で構成され、そのうち3行が花を交えた文章になっている。花を交えていないのは2行目のものだけ。
Okay.
花をもしかしたら。
そう、貴船さんが残した花を奪ってとは花の描写のある行を消し、残った2行目。
Okay. A chill
冷たい
breath.
息吹にさらされ、無慈悲な死を遂げ、死の影の谷を歩く
Mm-hmm.
という文章に注目してほしかったからなの。文章に注目？冷たい息吹、無慈悲な死、事故で亡くなったのではないということ？
It's a shocking suggestion and the earth seems to freeze around it. But I shake my head, telling her that it's the last part of the sentence she wanted us to focus on.
それって死の影の谷を歩くっていうところ？それって
Yeah.
祈りの言葉で聞いたことがあるような。ええ、リッカさんの言う通り、旧約聖書にその一文が載っているわ。死の影の谷を歩くことがあっても、私は災いを恐れません。ダビデの賛歌、詩編23編にある祈りの言葉の一編。
Okay, so I guess that connects with 23. Alright. And?
23編って。そう、高崎さんが見つけてくれたマリア像。その像の足元に踏まれている蛇の頭に刻まれていた数字と同じ。この2つの鍵が示していたのはダビデの賛歌、そして星の形を刻んでいた意味は。
そうか、ダビデの星か。
Erika-san slaps her knee. Those who know what this means are looking around, while those who don't are looking at me and Erika-san in confusion.
ダビデの星って？ダビデの星はユダヤ民族を象徴するシンボル。2つの正三角形を逆に重ねた、いわゆる六芒星と言われる形をしているの。
When I sketch a hexagram in my notebook, Ichiko-san excitedly says that she's seen it before.
よくファンタジー映画とかで見る印だよね。へえ、これダビデの星って言うんだ。ちょっと待って、私これ見たことあるわ。
Brow furrowed, she looks around the room. She's right.
蛇の頭にあったイクトゥスめいた文様を探してもらう際に、学院に星の形をしたいたずら書きが複数あると報告があった。
I carry on with my explanation of how we checked all the other statues of the Virgin Mary to see whether they bore the same symbol. In the end, we concluded that the statue out in the woods was the only one, which is why we then moved on to see if we could find the ictus on anything else. We decided to expand the search to include other religious paintings and statues around the academy. Despite searching high and low, none of us found another star with a number inside of it. However, stars being a relatively common symbol, we did come across a lot of them, even on things that didn't bear any religious significance. And there's plenty of them in the library.
高崎さんからの報告では、図書室でも見かけたとあった。
Or one, okay. I led the group deep into the library to the very back and point... I lead the group deep into the library to the very back and point to a bookcase that sits flush against the wall. And there it is.
星。違う。本当に六芒星だわ。
A Star of David is carved into the top of the bookcase, blackened as though branded there with an iron.
そう。私が見つけた星のマークはこれよ。
Chidori's find. Good job,
星っ
Chidori.
てまあ確かにパッと見星型に見えるけどな。
Everyone focuses excitedly on the Star of David carved into the wood.
木目の色と合わさってよほど注意してみなければ気づきませんね。お手柄ですよ。
Takasaki-san swells with pride. With her report and having gathered together the various keys, I was able to ascertain that this was the place.
それでこの印が書かれているところを見つけたのはいいけれど、これが何を解決するの？この本の中に誰が犯人だとか書かれているの？
At this, the excitement in the room simmers down, and everyone turns their eyes to me. I remind them that I said that there were 3 keys that led me here.
そうか、文字通り3つ目の鍵か。
Yep. Approaching the bookcase, I run a hand over the wood.
先ほど話した2つの鍵が謎を解く場所にダビデの星が刻まれていると教えてくれた。
I ask Kirika-san if she understands.
以前読んだ歴史書の中で大戦中このダビデの星はシオンの星とも呼ばれていたの。これも彼女が伝えたかったことなのかしらね。
Wow, what a connection. Okay, I had no idea. Interesting.
シオンの星、シオンバスキアか。
From my breast pocket, I take out the key with the crest of St. Angrecum Academy stamped into the head. Then, gazing at the wall, I continue.
3つ目のこの鍵は本棚に隠された部屋への鍵。その閉ざされた部屋こそが全ての真相へつながっている。
この本棚の向こう側に隠し部屋があるっていうの？
I nod. The key that was hidden in Sister Basket's room is the key that will unlock the hidden
宝
room.
の地図の謎は解いて、宝箱を開ける鍵まで手に入れてるんだ。早速中を拝ませてもらうとしよう。
Okay, I'm bracing myself. Go for it. Her flippant tone breaks the spell that was holding everyone in place, and they turn to the bookcase. To move it, we'll first have to empty the books off the shelves.
ご苦労。
Oh god, that was creepy and scary. A familiar voice causes us all to spin back around.
よくここまで鍵つけることができた。
さすがはイカイアの会の会長になるだけのことはあるわね。
Once again, I can't help but wonder, how can they be here with this astonishing precision? Are they just like lying in wait around the corners? So they're like somewhere in the dark, in the shadows, hiding and being like, oh, tonight they're going to the library. This is it. Like, how? Yuzuri Hayatsushiro and Nerine Mikado are standing there, smiles on their faces. But those smiles don't reach their eyes.
八代先輩。
僕をまだ先輩と呼んでくれるのかい？嬉しいじゃないか。まあ目こぼしはできないけれどね。
あなた、鳥のようにさえずらないでちょうだい。騒いで人が来て困るのはあなたも一緒でしょ。
At her crisp, dispassionate tone, the others, stare in wonder at the 2 girls who have changed so completely that it seems as though their very souls have been drained from them.
そんな本当に？
一度は目をつむってくれると聞いた気がするんだがね。
ああ、だから一度は見逃した。バスキア教諭の部屋に再度忍び込んだのを黙って見逃してやっただろ。
今度も見逃しちゃくれないか。
ダメね。約束は一度だけ。違えることはできないわ。
As the 2 girls take a step forward, I take a step back, away from the warped energy they're emanating. At least I try to, but...
どうしてなんです？なんでこんな意地悪をするんですか？
Oh, sorry. Oh gosh, there's something wrong with my throat tonight. I find myself anchored in place, like I'm trying to swim against the current. Ichigo-san, who once held romantic feelings toward Yatsushiro-senpai, cries out.
スオちゃんがどれほど苦労してきたかゆずりは先輩は知っているはずです。だから
Then Ringo-san, who she was involved with, if only for a brief time, makes her own plea. Like the Tin Woodman from The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, Yuzuriha Senpai creaks to a stop.
ゆずりは
君たちの言うことはもっともだ。だが僕にも弾けない理由がある。
弾けない理由とは
君には関係のない話だよ。
Instead of her familiar sardonic smile, the one she flashes me now is frigid and self-directed. It's like she's telling me that it's an unassailable fact, that this is the end, that we should just give up.
諦めるわけにはいかない。
I can't back down no matter what. I look from Yatsushiro senpai, so different to the girl I once called my friend, to Komikado senpai.
確かに関係のない話なのでしょうね。
スオさん、
私たちを裏切り敵対することになるほどの理由です。並大抵の事情ではないのでしょう。
なら
She seems to think that I am assenting, but I quickly dispel any such thoughts.
私は八代先輩や小見門先輩の事情を踏まえてもなおあなたたちを踏み越えていかなければならない。止まるわけにはいかないのです。
自分のエゴを押し通すために。
I nod. For my amitié, my ray of spring sunshine. I can't watch that glow dim. I won't let her fade away like the light of a dying day.
はい。私がわがままを押し通すことで八代先輩たちに迷惑が及ぶかもしれない。どうしても私は取り戻さなければいけないものがある。
My words sink into the surrounding walls and silence settles over us like dust. For a long moment the two girls remain frozen like the statue of the Virgin Mary out in the woods. Then, like stone come to life, Yatsushiro senpai looks intensely around at us. At me, Rika-san, Takasaki-san, Erika-san, and the twins she so cared for.
僕がハートのないブリキの木こりでネリーから心を入れてもらったように、君は君の魂を獲得するために半身を
I mean,
彼女を
yeah,
得なければならないのだね。
stating the obvious here. Slowly she closes her eyes as though looking inside herself for answers, or to God. There in the silent room, she whispers something to herself. Then she opens her eyes and looks first to me and then to Komikado senpai.
もういいのよ、ゆずりは。
ネリ
私のことは、私たちのことは自らの力で解決すべきことだわ。だからもういいの。
Her expression contorts slightly, her anguish transmitted keenly through the clear, sharp winter air. But Yatsushiro senpai seems to have resolved herself.
ー、わかった。十分義理は果たしただろう。
With that, she saunters up to the bookcase and starts pulling books off the shelves.
八代先輩。
What duty is that, or obligation?
自分の
To
都合と
whom?
君たちを天秤にかけ、それが
She flicks a glance toward Ichigo-san and Ringo-san.
より重い方に傾いただけだ。
I thank her and she flashes me a cynical smile.
そうと決まったらさっさと済ましてしまおう。見回りが来る時間までそう猶予はないからね。
A heavy creak saddled with the weight of years echoes through the library. The lock is stiff and stubborn, reluctant to open straight away for us after remaining closed for so long. But I throw my full weight into turning the key we found in Sister Basket's room, and eventually my obstinacy wins out and it unlocks abruptly, like a mulish old man finally backing down. I put my hand to the doorknob and then... I'm greeted by the oppressive weight of years of history, along with the cold blast of dank air and the smell of dust. The room beyond is sunk into shadows even deeper than those draping the library, but my eyes are used to the dark, and watery moonlight filtering through a tiny skylight provides some visibility. What happened to the Yuzu and Neri from episode 3? I mean, something changed with them leaving, right? They weren't the same exact people, clearly. But I don't think they're evil. I think there's something else there. I just can't picture what it could be. I can't accept them being like this as their default state, let's say. There's something that's making them try to stop Suo. But why? And now the user basically turned against that, right? So she helped them. And here we are seeing the secret room. So I still think there's, like, she's okay. She is the same user with whatever, let's say, bit of tiny character progression she might have had from the whole experience of leaving the school. But somehow she's still here. So I guess we'll see what that is later on. So before me is the hidden room Sairi Kifune wanted someone to find. Perhaps it was once used as a personal study room. Ancient bookshelves line the walls, and a writing desk stands in the center. I find myself walking over to the desk to look down at the open book someone must have been writing on. No, reading. Oh god. While my attention is taken up by the book, I hear a heavy thud and I spin around toward the source of the sound. Okay. Seeing my immediate partner slumped against the bookcase as though in a faint, I dash over to her. Realizing that she's desperately trying to avoid looking at something, I turn my own gaze in that direction. In one corner of the room, the darkness is blacker than elsewhere. Oh god. Oh god, I'm so sorry. Oh god, okay, what is it? I squint. Something seems to be pulled there, its contours hard to pin down. The shadowy form looks like my stepmother. No, it's... Realizing that she ultimately made the most sorrowful choice of all I can do is stare through the gloom at what remains of her. Oh my god. I don't think I want to know more tonight. I don't think I want to jump into another scene. What? Realizing that she ultimately made the most sorrowful choice of all. What is the most sorrowful choice of all? Is it like taking your life or something? What? All I can do is stare through the gloom at what remains of her. Okay. Yeah, I hate to leave it like on a cliffhanger if you're curious to know what that is, but I think I've had enough for one night. Okay. No. I'm good. I'm good. Is that okay? Oh gosh. Okay. It's the perfect spot? Okay, thank you for confirming. Oh jeez. Oh god. Okay. When we said like the dark truth of the academy, I did not expect it to be like dark, like involving like something this dark, you know? Like I don't know, I thought it would be maybe something that would stain the reputation in terms of like whatever, but like not this deep, not this deep. Okay, we I guess we will see what this is next time. For now, Why can't Yuzu and Neri ceaselessly make love to each other kilometers away from this cursed school like any normal people would? It is a very good question. I wonder too. Like, why can't they just well, I that's what I understood at the end of the last episode, that they were just eloping away from here so that they could be together. But now they're still here. They're keeping tabs on Suo and the gang, and they're there at the perfect moment every time when they want to stop them from doing something. So, yeah, okay. Yeah, right. We will, yeah, probably get more answers next time. We got enough for one night. I appreciate you all being here. I think the saddest part is that the mystery isn't some big conspiracy, but a personal tragedy. There's more to it, so a lot to look forward to. Yeah, but like, it just... I wish I could understand it better. Like, why did it even get to this point? Or is it... maybe I'm also misinterpreting certain things. So I suppose they will go over it little by little. I hope they do that to every mystery, so I wouldn't expect this to be any different. Yeah, I guess we will see. Okay, then for tonight I don't really have much else to say other than, oh my god. You don't have the card on the table, don't worry. Okay, that's okay. I think even if I did have it, I still wouldn't be able to figure it out. So that's fine. That's fine. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Bella. I'm kind of tired. Today has been a long day, so that lifts me up a little bit. If I can still manage to look cute by at the end of all that, that's great. Yeah. You're both cute. I can't see you, but I'm sure you're both super cute as well. And you're the cutest for being by my side reading this every Tuesday and Thursday. So yeah, we will come back to this in 2 days' time. Brace yourselves. Until then, night night, take care. Have a great rest of your day and see you next time. Kisses. Love you. Bye bye.